one of the most coveted vacation destinations is certainly the beach. Nothing seems capable of replacing the sea breeze, accompanied by beautiful people and a generous dose of tanning. However, not every trip to the beach ends the way we imagine. In more extreme cases, cameras have captured events you would not believe if they had not been recorded on video, and that is exactly what we will see here today. A driver got into serious trouble when he drove a sedan onto the sand, which, let's face it, almost always ends badly. The car became stuck near the water's edge and, as expected, would not budge even with a lot of effort. Now things get strange. Instead of calling a tow truck or asking for help by simply pushing, the rescue harnessed the wind. The car was pulled using a parachute. The strong wind blowing from the sea was used as extra traction to try to pull the vehicle out of the sand trap. The driver stayed behind the wheel and 8 more people helped push the sedan, while the parachute was carried by the wind on the other side. The improvisation, as unlikely as it seems, worked. Gradually, the car came free from the sand and was able to drive away. Of course, you can't recommend this kind of technique, but it was certainly creative. It seems that nature in the end can be both a problem and a solution. It all depends on how you use it. When eating outdoors, there is always a risk that someone is eyeing your meal. But on some beaches in Europe, that someone may have wings. Calvin Sprague, a tourist visiting the port of Scheveningen in the Netherlands, was enjoying the atmosphere with his wife, preparing to try for the first time a regional dish called raw herring. Calvin lifted the fish and was about to bring it to his mouth. In the next instant, however, a seagull suddenly swooped down and snatched the snack from his hand, almost from his own mouth. The moment was captured on video and quickly spread across social media. Calvin did not even have time to react, but let's be honest, what could you do in that situation? In many European ports, especially in the Netherlands and the United Kingdom, these birds have learned that tourists often walk around with food in their hands and have completely lost their fear. Anyone strolling there knows, either you eat quickly or you put the snack away. Otherwise, someone with a beak and feathers may rob you without ceremony. In Devon, United Kingdom, a group of beachgoers got a huge scare while enjoying a sunny day on Budleigh, Salterton Beach. Without warning, part of a cliff collapsed, sending thousands of tons of rock onto the sand and nearly hitting those nearby. The rocks fell with such force that they raised a reddish dust cloud, visible even out at sea. 2 beachgoers who were very close ran straight into the water, trying to move away from the landslide. Others were trapped on the wrong side of the collapse and had to be rescued by a lifeboat. Coast Guard and police teams were called immediately. Their mission was to ensure that no one was injured or buried, and to bring the trapped beachgoers back to safety. Fortunately, no one was hurt. The cliff already had warning signs and sections of the coastal path were closed soon afterward. According to witnesses, the sound of the fall was like thunder. A tourist about 300 meters away said he heard 2 loud cracks, one after the other. As beautiful as some natural landscapes can be, sometimes it is better to keep your distance to avoid such danger. In Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, one of the most unexpected moments occurred when the sea simply decided to invade the city. The backwash was so intense that not a single strip of sand remained in some stretches of the shoreline. The waves went over the promenade, reached the avenues, and swept away everything in their path, including an exercise station and even a car parked in the central median. Some people were nearly carried off as well, like a woman who narrowly escaped being struck by a wave that swallowed all the sand at once. And even with such force, there were still surfers taking advantage of the choppy water, as if it were just another ordinary day. Children's kiosks had to collect their toys as a precaution. Even the city hall had to close sections of major avenues and mobilize teams to clear all the sand that ended up on the asphalt. And it wasn't just people who suffered from the power of the water. 5 Magellanic penguins appeared lifeless on one of the beaches brought in by the current. Indeed, beaches are not only sun and tranquility. Sometimes the greatest danger is not the sea itself, but the waves that decide to bring it into the city. Some surfers bring a board, wax, and cameras to capture the perfect wave. But Ivan Moreira from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, also brings his best friend, a brown Labrador named Bono. And this is not just a beach outing. Bono is a 5-time world champion of Surf Dog, a competition held in California, United States. Their partnership began early. When Bono was only 5 months old, he was already standing on the board with Ivan. The dog loved it, and they never stopped. They have won the Surf City Surf Dog competition 5 times and even made it into the record books after riding a pororoca wave on the Amazon River for more than 33 minutes. According to experts, the most important thing is to respect the animal's signals, and Bono makes it clear that he is in the right place, happy, focused, and balanced like any respected surfer. What started as a game ended in titles, records, and a story that sounds like a lie, but it is documented for anyone who wants to doubt. Imagine a sunny day at the beach, full of people relaxing on lounge chairs, and suddenly a Russian military helicopter flies so low that it practically kicks up a mini hurricane. That is what happened at a beach in Krasnodar, Russia. A K-52 alligator attack helicopter used by the country's armed forces flew over the sand just a few meters above the ground. The rotor wash was so strong that it ripped up parasols, chairs, and even knocked some people over in the sand. Everyone recorded it on video at first, excitedly filming the helicopter with their phones. But once it got closer, the mood changed completely. The gusts turned into chaos. There were screams, people running, and others trying to flee what felt like an artificial tornado. The helicopter was en route to a nearby military airfield. Apparently, no one thought to warn the civilians in advance. This model, the K-52, cost approximately $16 million. It is used to attack ground targets, tanks, and even other helicopters. Because of the war with Ukraine, these aircraft have been spared from riskier missions since many have been shot down in the conflict. But in this story, the damage was different. Fortunately, no one was injured. Only a few belongings may have been broken when they were blown into the air. On the north coast of Santa Catarina, Brazil, a group of residents was surprised by a visit no one expected to see so close. Dozens of Atlantic spotted dolphins appeared swimming near the shore in Balneario Barra do Sul. The scene was recorded on video, and you can hear people's reactions, jaws dropping, filming everything, and commenting on the number of animals in the sea. Even with some boats nearby, the dolphins did not mind. They swam very close to the vessels, as if performing a show. These dolphins have oceanic habits and prefer deeper waters. That is why seeing such a large group so close to the beach, and in winter, is something rare. According to experts from the Toninas Project of Brazil, the species is common in the region, but almost never appears so near the sand at this time of year. Atlantic spotted dolphins can reach 2.5 meters in length and weigh up to 150 kilos. They are agile, graceful, and, in this case, provided one of those magical moments. The unexpected appearance drew attention for its beauty, but also raised alarms. According to researchers, such changes in animal behavior may be linked to transformations in the climate and oceans. For now, those present say only that it was unforgettable. Jehan Benjamin Tarrain, a French artist, decided to turn the beach into his studio. Better known as J-Ben, he makes giant drawings in the sand that can only be truly appreciated from a distance or with the help of a drone. He lives in Royan on the west coast of France, and since 2015, he has lived exclusively off this work. His creations vary widely, but some reach 100 meters in width. All are made with simple tools using the space left by the tide. The curious thing is that he has at most 4 hours to finish each piece before the water washes it away. Sometimes he arrives with the design planned. Other times, he decides on the spot what he will do. He may be inspired by tattoos, internet images, or even random ideas that pop up. At the end of each session, J-Ben documents everything with aerial photos. It is the only way to preserve the works, since they last such a short time. According to him, he does not use a drone during the process, relying only on his sight and intuition. Besides his personal works, he also takes commissions from companies or individuals who want something customized. It seems simple, but it is a mix of art, precision, and patience, with a natural timer running alongside. A type of art that demands detachment, since a single wave is enough to erase it all. A resident of Santos, on the coast of São Paulo, Brazil, came across thousands of bubbles scattered on the sand and floating in the sea. From afar, they looked like small water sacs, gelatinous and semi-transparent, and no one knew for sure what those creatures were. Wagner Augusto, 53 years old, even asked a lifeguard, who also could not identify them. Thinking they might be a type of jellyfish, he picked up a few in his hand, but noticed they did not cause any reaction. He recorded a video that sparked curiosity among internet users and soon went viral on social media. media. Only later did biologists explain that those bubbles are salps, marine animals that resemble jellyfish but are completely harmless. They have no tentacles, do not sting, and do not swim on their own. They drift with the currents. According to experts, this kind of mass appearance is not rare and actually indicates something positive. When there are many salps, it means the region has high marine productivity, full of microscopic life like phytoplankton, which is their food. Moreover, salps play an important role in the planet's balance. They help bury the carbon that phytoplankton absorb, taking it to the ocean floor. In other words, they are small creatures that perform a gigantic environmental service, even if they sometimes confuse everyone on the beach. Imagine going to the beach and almost becoming the meal. On the coast of Connecticut, United States, a tourist recorded the exact moment a shark tried to attack his jet ski. The viral video shows the animal swimming very close to the vehicle, apparently calm. But when the rider accelerates, the shark lunges and attempts to bite the back of the jet ski, right where the rider, Russell Kieslick, was sitting. Russell reported that at first he did not think it was dangerous, but when he felt the impact and saw the shark leap, he realized it could have ended very badly. Luckily, the animal missed its target and he emerged unscathed. After the scare, he even managed to laugh and continue the ride as if nothing had happened. The curious thing is that this type of situation is not common in Connecticut. Since 1900, there have been only 2 recorded shark bite incidents in the region. In other words, the chance of this happening is almost nil. But apparently the sea decided to play a trick. Despite the scare, no one was hurt. The shark went on its way and the video remains as a memento of an unusual moment. But it is worth remembering, as amazing as close encounters with marine life can be, sometimes it is better to keep your distance when a shark over 2 meters long decides to swim beside you. An absurd scene was captured on one of Ukraine's most famous beaches. In the port city of Odessa, a submarine mine exploded very close to the shoreline, frightening the bathers nearby. Even with warnings for people to avoid the coast because of the risks of war, many continued to frequent the beach. It was in this context that a group decided to swim, ignoring the restrictions announced by the city hall. Security cameras captured the moment the group was returning from a dive when the submerged mine detonated. The explosion was so powerful, it could be seen from a distance, and the sound terrified everyone in the vicinity. Incredibly, by 2022, this was already the 5th such case. Since the start of the conflict, naval mines have been laid along the coast as a form of defense, but the problem is that they are not always visible or under control. This time, the danger in the sea did not come from nature, but from the Ukrainian government and army, in an attempt to guard against Russian attacks. In times of war, even a swim can end in tragedy. It was very lucky nobody was hurt on this occasion. And the prize for the most unusual cameraman goes to a bird. Yes, that is exactly what happened to a woman who was enjoying the beach and decided to make a simple video holding her phone in front of her face. But in the middle of the recording, a bird suddenly appeared and snatched the phone from her hand. The curious thing is that the device continued filming everything. The video became a sort of aerial tour, with the bird's own perspective, showing the sky, the sand, and the total chaos as it flew with the phone clutched in its claws. In the end, it seems the device fell to the ground, ending the recording with a thud. The video quickly went viral, drawing expressions of disbelief from viewers. Some wondered how the phone was found after that adventure, and others joked that the bird probably wanted to create content for its own channel. Jokes aside, there is no denying the footage is impressive. It also serves as a warning to the unwary. If you are going to film or take photos at the beach, you might want to hold your phone with both hands. Who knows what other cameraman might want to steal the scene and your phone. Don't forget to subscribe so you can watch more videos like this.